Why the hell are you going to the Arctic in the middle of the winter? That's something everyone asked me last year when I announced that I was going to Greenland in the middle of February. They're not wrong to ask. When I landed there, I was asking myself the same question. Winter is my favorite season. I'm from Canada, where my city gets to minus 30 degrees Celsius, and I thought I knew cold. But stepping off that plane into minus 40-degree weather, even dropping to more than minus 50 with the wind, I was starting to second guess my decision. Within only a few minutes, my parka was encrusted with ice. My eyelashes were literally popsicles, and even my makeup froze over, so the locals panicked, thinking I had a bad case of frostbite. But despite this frosty start, my misgivings quickly melted away. We often hear about the Arctic as some sort of abstract measure of climate change and global warming. We've all heard about receding glaciers and melting permafrost and lots of scientific jargon. We're inundated with this news day after day, and in fact, we hear about it so many times that we've become numb. At this point, the Arctic seems more like an idea than an actual place, but nothing can be further than the truth. The Arctic is a very real place. The Arctic is an area that spans across 8 different countries. 4 million people live there. That's one person per every 2.6 kilometers square. Over 5,000 species of animals call the Arctic their home, from the mighty polar bear and magnificent whales, all the way to little tiny microscopic organisms that live under glaciers. The Arctic is cold, it is violent, it is extreme, and it is harsh. But it's also fragile, pure, and absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. Every creature, every plant, every shard of ice that's over there is essential and necessary to maintain that delicate ecosystem. I had gone to Greenland because I wanted to see the Arctic firsthand. I wanted to see what news anchors and scientists talk about in person. I wanted to see elusive Arctic wildlife, and I wanted to participate in Inuit activities. And I really wanted to see the famous ice sheet. And I was fortunate enough to experience all of this and more. I saw wild muskox, reindeer, Arctic hares. I got to eat matak or whale blubber, go dog sledding across a frozen fjord, and ice fish for Arctic char. I heard the lonely booming of ice and the sing-song calls of Arctic birds. I saw the beauty of the northern lights and learned Inuit legends behind them. But most striking of all was seeing the ice sheet and learning about how it impacted both humans and animals alike. The Greenland Ice Sheet is the second largest ice body in the world after the Antarctic one. It covers about 79% of Greenland and is on average 2 kilometers thick. What might surprise you is that the ice is always moving, always flowing. The ice's movement is so significant that it actually carves the land it moves across, giving way to valleys, hills, bogs, lakes, and rivers. This landscape becomes home to incredible biodiversity that can't be found anywhere else on Earth. Throughout history, the Inuit have based their camps around these spots, becoming the towns they are today. But in recent years, this has changed. For starters, arriving at the glacier looked nothing like the promo shots on the website. Our guide explained that those photos were from about 10 years ago. Since then, the temperatures have risen considerably and the ice has receded several kilometers, leaving a barren, sandy, and insanely windy desert in its wake. You can't even walk up to the glacier wall anymore because it is unstable, with large chunks of ice falling unexpectedly. And even though the ground in front of the wall looks solid, it's actually just a thin layer of ice covering a deep pool of water with a very strong and dangerous current. In the spring, as the snow and ice melts, this water floods the major river that it feeds, overflowing the land around it, including valleys and lakes that had been undisturbed for thousands of years. Wildlife is either being displaced or is lost forever. And the nearby town itself, home to one of Greenland's only international airports, is also now at risk of flooding. You might be wondering why I'm telling you this and why you should even care about what's happening in a tiny town you've never heard of that's thousands of kilometers away. What I'm trying to tell you is that if we lose the ice, we stand to lose an entire ecosystem. And I don't just mean Greenland, I mean the entire global ecosystem, because what's happening in Greenland right now is just a microcosm of what's likely to happen around the world if Arctic ice continues to melt at the rate it is now. Experts who are a lot smarter than me have offered solutions to this crisis. There are articles upon articles about how we can all change our habits for the better. So I'm not going to go into that. I'm not here to make you feel numb. But why the hell did I go to the Arctic in the coldest month of the year? It was simply so that I, an average, non-scientific person, can show you that the Arctic is a real place, that climate change is indeed tangible. We should care about what's happening there, thousands of kilometers away, because it is something that is already happening to us now. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.